You know, one thing that doesn't get spoken about in society is the way in which, if you have a child and you have a tumultuous relationship with the mother of your child or children, right? One of the things that don't get spoken about is the way in which mothers are allowed or can feed negativity into a child, and you can watch your child become a mouthpiece for their mother. I've seen children, and I've said I mentor men, and I also, I take consultations with men. And I've heard some stories, and I've actually seen it in my personal life. And I've watched a child go from one thing to another thing once the parents break up. And everything that comes out of that child's mouth, a father can tell, where did you hear that? That's from your mum. That's not from you. You're just repeating what your mother said. That's all you're doing. And one of the things that isn't spoken about is how a lot of young men are walking around as mouthpieces without knowing the full story when it comes to their father. I've heard young men speak about their dad in such a derogatory way. And as a father myself, I'm like, yo, just calm down a little bit. You don't know what happened. Have you gone to him and asked his side of the story? And most of the time, they haven't. So I kind of give men advice, and I say, do you know what? When you turn a certain age, go to your mother and say, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to go to my father. I'm going to find him. And we're going to sit down and we're going to talk. I want to get his side of the story. Watch her. Watch her very closely. Yeah? Because I'm telling you something, if she knows she's been lying for that long, she will try and stop you from going to speak to your father. She will try and stop any communication that you have. As a matter of fact, she'll even answer for him. No, he'll just say this, he'll just say that. No. For the children that don't know the full story about their father, when you get of age, if you have come of age or when they do, go and talk to your father. Because in these days and times, what I've noticed is that there's a lot of children, both men and women, but specifically young men, speaking ill about their father and actually not knowing the full story, because they have become mouthpieces of their toxic mothers. And I'm telling you, when you start to sit down with a man and ask him questions, if he's a deadbeat, he's a deadbeat. You can write it off, your mum was right. But I think there are a lot of fathers out there right now that know that their child is literally a spawn of their mother, and they have been listening to all of the toxic, disgusting, negative things said about him. And because he doesn't have a mouthpiece to be there, or is shut down, or is stopped from seeing his child and all this kind of stuff, he doesn't get to tell his side of the story. And so my advice to men who don't have a relationship with their father and have been told a lot of stuff by their mother is to go and find your father and go and get his side of the story. I didn't realize this until I became a father myself, and I started having my own troubles with the mother of my child. I didn't realize, wow, children can actually become mouthpieces for toxic mothers. Because they're around them probably most of the time, they can say all types of stuff into their ear. And that child, because they're around their mother, they believe it. I've seen 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds speak so ill of their dad. And I'm like, do you actually know what happened? Do you know? Because there's two sides to every story, right? But all you've got all of your life is a story from your mother. She could be lying. I'm not saying she is, but she could be lying, right? And I'll walk around and I watch men and I listen to the way men speak about their fathers, and I say, that sounds like the mother. Mothers will give a child a story and they will have to keep to it. And this is why when we go on, and we look at society's, TV programs like Maury, like Paternity Court, like all of these things, and you see these women saying all these bad things about the father. He's this, he's that, he's a deadbeat, he's bad, he's toxic, all of this stuff. Then you find out that it's actually not even him. right? You are not the father. And you think, imagine if she was saying these things, she would be saying these things to her child, and that child would be believing it, right? So I'm saying, men and women, if you don't have a relationship with your father, go out and try to find him and get the other side of the story, because believing one person's side of the story will not leave you with the truth.